I pledge to be a president who seeks not to divide, but unify, who doesn't see red states and blue states, only sees the United States. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. But there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country. And here, in my view, is what is true. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They refuse to accept the results of a free election. They're working right now to give power to decide elections in America to partisans and cronies, empowering election deniers to undermine democracy itself. MAGA forces are determined to take this country backward to an America where there is no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to contraception, no right to marry who you love. They promote authoritarian leaders and they fan the flames of political violence that are a threat to our personal rights, the pursuit of justice, to the rule of law, to the very soul of this country. They look at the mob that stormed the United States Capitol on January 6th, brutally attacking law enforcement, not as insurrectionists who placed a dagger at the throat of our democracy, but they look at them as patriots, and they see their MAGA failure to stop a peaceful transfer of power after the 2020 election as preparation for the 2022 and 2024 elections. They tried everything last time to nullify the votes of 81 million people. This time, they're determined to succeed in thwarting the will of the people. Like Federal Circuit Court Judge Michael Ludwig called Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans, quote, a clear and present danger to our democracy. There are far more Americans who reject the extreme MAGA ideology. I believe America is at an inflection point, and now America must choose. MAGA Republicans have made their choice. They embrace anger. They thrive on chaos. They live not in the light of truth, but in the shadow of lies. This is a nation that honors our Constitution. We do not reject it. This is a nation that rejects violence as a political tool. We do not encourage violence. Yet, history tells us the willingness to engage in political violence is fatal to democracy. We must be stronger, more determined, and more committed to saving American democracy than MAGA Republicans are to destroying American democracy. Today, there are dangers around us we cannot allow to prevail. We here, you've heard it, more and more talk about violence as an acceptable political tool in this country. It's not. It can never be an acceptable tool. There is no place for political violence in America, period. None, ever.
I think the kind of issues that really hit home, how you're going to invest in infrastructure and how you're going to pay for it. I think those are the issues that really will move the folks who will get you elected. And I don't think even in states where Donald Trump won big that it does you any good running away from Donald Trump. I think you need to go back and punch him in the face. I mean, the truth is this guy is bad for this country.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
I tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
Angry because we have reached the culmination of what Republicans have been fighting for, angling for decades now, and we are going to fight back. Seeing the world where abortion is illegal. And we are not going back. No. So say it with me. We are not going back. We are not going back. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever. Not
That's my call to action here. Please don't just come here today and then go home. Go to the Hill today. Get up and please get up in the face of some Congress people.
We saw law enforcement brutally attacked on January 6th. We've seen election officials, poll workers, many of them volunteers of both parties, subject to intimidation and death threats. And can you believe it? FBI agents just doing their job as directed, facing threats to their own lives from their own fellow citizens. On top of that, there are public figures today, yesterday, and the day before predicting and all but calling for mass violence and rioting in the streets. This is inflammatory. It's dangerous, against the rule of law. We can't allow violence to be normalized in this country. It's wrong. We each have to reject political violence with all the moral clarity and conviction this nation can muster. Democracy cannot survive when one side believes there are only two outcomes to an election. Either they win or they were cheated. And that's where the MAGA Republicans are today. They don't understand what every patriotic American knows. Can't love your country only when you win. I will not stand by and watch. I will not the will of the American people be overturned by wild conspiracy theories and baseless evidence-free claims of fraud. I will not stand by and watch elections in this country stolen by people who simply refuse to accept that they lost. America has often made the greatest progress coming out of some of our darkest moments, like you're hearing that bullhorn. MAGA Republicans look at America and see carnage and darkness and despair. They spread fear and lies. Lies told for profit and power. American manufacturers come alive across the heartland, and the future will be made in America. No matter what the white supremacists and the extremists say, with all the challenges we face, I give you my word as a Biden, I've never been more optimistic about America's future. We're going to end cancer as we know it. Mark my words. That's where we need to focus our energy. Not in the past, not on divisive culture wars, not on the politics of grievance, but on a future we can build together. MAGA Republicans believe that for them to succeed, everyone else has to fail. They believe America is not like I believe about America. I believe America is big enough for all of us to succeed. And that is the nation we're building, a nation where no one is left behind, that all are entitled to be treated with decency, dignity, and respect. Look, our democracy is imperfect. Notwithstanding those folks you hear on the other side there. They're entitled to be outrageous. This is a democracy. But history and common sense good manners is nothing they've ever suffered from.